Hey, New York Jet fans from all around the world. Welcome to Laugh Through the Turbulence, a New York Jets podcast. The show that delivers you all your Jets content. Here are your hosts, John, Adden, and Monty. All the best to the New York Jet fans. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets.
Welcome to Laugh Through the Turbulence. Guess what today was?
Schedule release. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. We saw the schedule. It just came out. I will say this. Credit to Matt O'Leary for basically breaking the news for everyone.
Nailed it.
He was right. The fucking Ginger was right.
Yeah, he only had one game off, which was the Dolphins game. The Dolphins game.
We can forgive him for that, right?
Yeah, the Dolphins. He had us ending with the Dolphins away game. The Dolphins' first game is away.
Yeah, he probably just typed it up wrong.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we have the schedule, and it is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think more interesting than daunting, but we will definitely get into that.
Yeah. So why don't I do this? Why don't I share the schedule? Oh, Smokey called. That's interesting.
It's always interesting.
Share the schedule.
I will share the screens. I will. Yeah. Okay. So let me just do that. We're here. I guess this is pretty good enough to see everything, right? Yeah, more or less, right? Our faces are here, right? Wait, I can do it. Oh yeah, I'm centering us. That's way better, gosh.
Great.
Okay. So here we go. So this is the schedule. The leak was out that we were gonna open at Niners Monday Night Football. That's just great. But Kittle was the first one to break that. It seemed like, he did the little tweet hint or whatever. Then it's at Tennessee. Home Thursday night, Patriots. Home Broncos. At London for the which I like that one of our away games is a neutral site game.
Hey, turn that TV down.
Oh, my bad. That's me.
Holy shit, dude. Okay. Home to the Bills on Monday night.
I gotta grab the remote.
Yeah. Don't interrupt me. Jesus fucking Christ. And then the next primetime game right after that, at Steelers, Sunday Night Football. Home, away Pats. Sorry, the colors are fucking confusing sometimes. Home Thursday Night Football, Texans. Away, Cardinals. Sunday Night Football. Home, Colts. Week 12, bye week. Home, Seahawks. Away, Dolphins. Away, Jags. Go chill by the pool. Home, Rams, the 22nd. Away, Bills, the 29th. God, there's going to be snow in that game. And then TBD, home game, Dolphins, which could very well lead to the division and be another primetime game. What are the thoughts of the group? I will go with Adnan because he was just so fucking excited to just talk. So
I looked at the schedule and I think that this is a schedule that is very manageable, and I said it, when the rumors came out that the Niners were the first game. Bring it, right? Like, what more do we want? What we want is, number one, get the hardest team on the schedule off the schedule. And number two, let's have that litmus test, right? Let's have that test and let's see where we are. Do the Jets win 17-13? Do they lose 17-13? Do they win 21-10? Do they lose 31-3? Whatever the outcome is, I think we'll have a little bit of an inkling as to what this team is and what it needs to, improve upon. And with that said, the rest of the schedule in the first few weeks, Titans away, fine. Patriots at home, opener, amazing, right? I think we have, as an overview, a pretty manageable schedule. We'll get into the minutia of game by game and all of that. But I want to kick it over to Monty and see what he thinks, what his initial kind of reactions are to this schedule.
Yeah. So maybe what we should do, we'll give our like upfront reactions, but let's go game by game. I think that'd be pretty
Or you
interesting.
can just do your overall reaction, and then we can do that after.
Yeah,
You know?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So keep up, John. All right. So 49ers, right? To
You don't have
start
to go
off,
game by game now.
I'm not going game by game, but I'm just saying the 49ers to start off the schedule is terrible. I hate that. I'm not a fan of it at all. There's a very much like a pretty obvious reason. Like, isn't what's his name, Brooks, that caused the injury to Aaron Rodgers? Isn't he on the Niners now?
Leonard Floyd. But listen,
Leonard Floyd, I'm sorry.
let's not do that thing where we do the what happened last time happens this time.
I'm not. But let me finish. So that's one thing. There's definitely like they're trying to set this up for a kind of a dramatic situation, right? That's why they're going. Saleh, his connection with with Shanahan and the 49ers. The fact that the 49ers are pretty much in any power ranking number 1 or number 2 in the league. There's a lot there that they want to set up dramatically. I see why they did that. I just hate it for us, as a start, because it's like we're just trying to get everything together. It takes offensive lines a little bit to gel together. They're not going to play much together in the preseason because you have a lot of vets that don't really play in the preseason. Plus our vets are, a little bit on the, we want to try to, manage them, as they say, load management. So, that's kind of my first thing that jumps out to me. The second thing that jumps out to me is we really need to we need to win as many games as we can before the bye. I think after the bye gets a little, the schedule gets a little dangerous, gets a little more serious. I think it's important for us to come out swinging and be in a great place going into that bye. And then after the bye week, then we just do whatever we can to do the best we can, because that is a tough way to end the schedule in terms of, compared to the seasons up front. But I think, in terms of the games at the front of the season, but I think that all in all, it is a good schedule for us. I think, I think on the very low end, we win, like 10 games. So I love the fact that, we get a lot of, easier teams to play to. I love the fact that the schedule is kind of pretty sparsed out. It's not too much of a gauntlet at any given time, with the exception of kind of the end there. It looks good for us. It's definitely something that is doable, and it's possible for us to end up in the playoffs with a schedule like this. And I'll go more in depth when we go game by game.
And John, can I jump in really quick? Just
No.
give your thoughts.
Thanks.
I'm gonna
fine. Go ahead. What do you guys say?
do that way. Just really quick. They've said it. I'll say it again. Overview. I want all the smoke. Just bring it. No excuses. Nothing. Let's go. This schedule, we're ready to rock. We have a great team on paper. Let's start strong, end strong. Bring it. That's all I have to say. John, your thoughts next.
All right, thank you. Okay, couple thoughts. One, I agree with Monty. I don't love the Niners being the first game. I would have preferred that first game being a quiet 1 p.m. mixed in with the rest of the red zone game, like against like Tennessee or the Patriots or something really kind of more of a layup, just so you can get your footing done, right? I would have preferred that, but I understand it's an awesome narrative. So I'm okay, and so be it. Get the fucking Band-Aid ripped off right away. Second, I don't love that our first 3 games are within 11 days of each other. The 9th through the 19th is 11 days. There's a Monday night to a Sunday game, which is a shorter week, but not a totally short week. And then immediately after, the shortest week you could possibly imagine, going from the Sunday through the Thursday. So, basically, it's a really tight window, right? Just in terms of those games, right? There's 2 Thursday night games, which I don't love. I love watching Thursday night football, but I love it because I just like to snort football. But I don't like it so much when it's my team doing it multiple times. Like I think traditionally the Cowboys are the ones that are historically always getting back-to-back Thursday night games. Thanksgiving and the
But
week
John,
after.
if
But it's my fault, so shut the fuck up for a second.
hold on,
Okay?
I want to interject for 1 second. It's also too many buys. Just throwing it out there. So good.
Too many what?
It's too many buys, right? You play on Thursday, then they don't play again until the next Sunday. So it's extra rest in their arsenal.
Okay. All right, whatever. Okay. And then that London game is sandwiched without a bye, right? That's another thing that's kind of like, what the fuck? Because usually teams get the bye after the London game, so they can readjust.
That's what
I'm still fucking talking, so don't even fucking try it. Okay. All right.
Guy loves to interrupt, but hates when people
hates getting interrupted. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, he's getting interrupted.
All right, so including the London game, which is a spotlight game because everyone's gonna be watching that because snort football. 5 of our first 7 games are in the national spotlight, which I don't know if I'm a big fan of. I kind of want to prefer a little bit of a more quiet run. Hard Knocks was. It is what it is. I'd rather them be a little bit quietly sneaky good, but so be it, right? I also think that Colts game is going to get flexed November 17th. Sunday Night Football just doesn't sound like a sexy matchup. The end of the schedule is tough. I think the Seahawks, Jags, and Rams are a lot more manageable than people are giving them credit for, but they're still decent teams. And obviously Dolphins, who knows? Maybe Tua's concussed by then, right? Who knows? He could be. I mean, he's training for it with his jiu-jitsu falls and all that stuff, right? So, so be it. But it's going to be interesting. Those couple December games are going to be really cold. The one at Buffalo, that one's definitely going to be a snow game. 100%. That's going to be a snow game. And that Dolphins game, that I like it that we get the Dolphins at the end, so it's cold, right? And even the Rams too, just because they're not going to they're going to be traveling, west to East Coast and all that. But overall, yeah, I like it. This is not as sexy of a schedule as it was last year in terms of opponents, right? Because there was a lot of high-profile teams last year, right? We had Chiefs, Cowboys, Eagles. There was much more high-profile. Obviously, the division, of course. Chargers were even kind of sexy, given that Justin Herbert and all that. It's just not as sexy.
The Texans turned out to be kind of sexy of a game.
And
a big win for us.
And the Jets smashed them at home, but agreed.
With Zach Wilson. Yeah, with
Zach Wilson. Right.
Yeah. And luckily that Broncos game is at home.
Thank God, right? Because who knows? Every time in Denver, it's bad news.
But okay. So, I mean, that's kind of how we have it, right? And I guess what we could start thinking about is game by game, now that we just have our overall thoughts, right? Yep. So, obviously, we kind of spoke about San Francisco, right? It's going to be tough. That's going to probably be the game of the week, right? I don't know what the other side of that game is. Does anyone know what it is?
Doesn't matter, really, but it's
gotta be Cowboys, Giants, or some crap like that, probably, right?
No, it's
have that because I know Baltimore at Kansas City's the Thursday night opener, which is
and then
itself.
the Monday night or the Friday night game is Eagles whatever, which is weird. Let's see. So
okay, excellent start.
I think, hold on. I'm looking at it right here. Hold on. So the September 5th, 6th, 8th is the Sunday night game is Rams-Lions. Rams at Lions.
Okay.
Which
that'll be okay game too. I definitely would want to watch that.
100%. Which I think
I would watch it, but I'm just saying it's not as sexy as Niners Jets, right? I mean, the Rams are like a middle pack team, right? Like borderline playoff team next year without Aaron Donald, right? The defense is being revamped. They're starting all over again. They had a first-round pick finally.
Yeah, I think that when we when we look at the Jets schedule, right, in terms of game by game, is it okay if I jump into this, guys, or do you want to talk about it?
Let's go for it. I'm ready to talk 49ers.
Let's start with the Niners, right? Yeah.
So I think we should all get. I want to give like an overview about this schedule, but a little bit more deeper in terms of like team by team, right? And I think the overview is that, and I think Monty, you sent a couple of different graphics in our group chat about like the overall strength of schedule. I think the strength of schedule for the Jets, going into this season is they have the 5th easiest schedule. Is that right, Monty?
That's I don't recall who was saying that. Let me try to pull that up though.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing, but I also think it's a little bit of a misnomer, right? So I think when we look at the schedule, right, because last year means something, but not a whole lot, right? So I don't know if you guys follow Benjamin Albright on Twitter. He's a Denver-based guy. He covers Denver, but he also covers the NFL, from the top down. And one of the things that he said, which I agree with, is, looking at strength of schedule based off of last year's strength of schedule is kind of stupid to do, and I'm paraphrasing, but I agree with that. And then I don't know if you guys follow Jeff Schwartz, but he's former NFL offensive lineman, covers the NFL, and he said kind of the best way to look at his schedule, which I agree with, is don't look at the strength of schedule, and I'm paraphrasing again, look at the strength of quarterback. So when we go through this Jets schedule, how many great quarterbacks are they facing in comparison to previous years, right? So looking at the schedule from beginning to end, let's say, right, San Francisco, okay, Brock Purdy. Is he great out of San Francisco? I don't know. But in San Francisco, with those weapons and with Kyle Shanahan, upper echelon quarterback, right? So that's one. Tennessee, Will Levis? No. Patriots, Drake May or Jacoby Brissett? No. Denver, right?
Zach Wilson.
Jarrett Stidham or Bo Nix? No. Right?
He might be starting by then, though, because I don't think Zach's going to be starting by
But
week
what I'm
4,
saying is
if he is at all.
But what I'm saying is, regardless, none of their quarterbacks are upper echelon, right? So now we look at Minnesota. Darnold or J.J. McCarthy, not upper echelon. So in their first 5 games, they play one upper echelon quarterback, right? Then we come back. Buffalo, upper echelon, yes. Then we look at Pittsburgh. It's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. The Jets beat Russell Wilson last year and Justin Fields, whatever, right? Then the Patriots, no. Texans, CJ Stroud, yes. Now, Cardinals is interesting. Is Kyler Murray upper echelon? Yes or no? What do you guys think?
11 to 15 range.
I think he is. For me, upper echelon is right around the 10 mark and up, and I put him just next to that. So he could sneak up in there in a given year. If he has a good year, he could easily sneak up 10, 9. I can see that.
So we count him 4, right? Next, Colts, Andrew Richardson. Do we know? No. So that's 4. Seahawks,
we don't know.
Geno Wilson. Geno Smith. We don't know, right? Dolphins is interesting. Do we count Tua? I
Yes, you
say
have
we
to.
do.
You count Kyler, you count Tua.
You have to
We
count
count,
Tua.
we count Tua, so that's 5.
You have to.
Do we count Trevor Lawrence?
Same range.
Same
And
as Kyler.
So we'll say 6. We count Stafford 7. We count Allen 8.
Allen at
So
9.
we
Not
count 9 quote unquote upper echelon quarterbacks out of 17. I think a couple of them though are debatable, right?
Sure.
Kyler's debatable. Tua's debatable. So I
Yeah.
look at this schedule and I don't think it's that daunting. Now we can talk about like where do the games fall? Does it work? That's my impression on the schedule. Monty, what do you think?
Yeah. So just to talk about the thing that you mentioned with the schedule. So the graphic I had sent is from Sharp Analysis. Warren
Yep.
Sharp. He's a very, very well renowned and analytics person. He works with the NFL. He has his own site. He works like tremendously in gambling. He's big in the gambling scene. Like he's usually pretty on, but to your other point,
Can I stop you for
hold
2
on.
seconds, Monty? Just to say that Warren Sharp just tweeted that the Jets are the first team in NFL history
Oh, wow.
to receive 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks of the season. So just to throw that to your Warren Sharp point.
Wow, that's that's
Yeah.
actually really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Warren Sharp, obviously you know who he is.
Mm.
So so it's not too it's not like I just pulled it out of nowhere. I'm not saying you said that, but I'm saying it's fairly right. However, there is some merit to what you're saying about schedule. Not so much in it's what they did last year or not, but just that you don't really know how the schedule is going to play out in any given year. It's very hard to tell. However, you do know, like, within reason, some teams that are most likely to be good barring injury, just like you named all the elite quarterbacks or that we play, or all the upper echelon quarterbacks that we play. You kind of know the upper echelon teams too, and there's a good amount of them. You know who's going to probably fall in the top 12, and you know how that's going to play out. So there is a little level of predictability, but yes, strength of schedule it's not like college, where in college you kind of know teams are favored by like 3 touchdowns and whatever, and some teams are definitely gonna win X number of games. But with with the NFL, the games are a lot tighter, the teams are a lot tighter in skill. You still can get whooped by any NFL team any given day if you let your guard down. So I'm not saying that it's the be all end all, but it is definitely a little notch to think of. Now, to what you were saying about, the entire schedule, from a quarterback perspective, I mean, I mostly agree, with what you were saying. I think though that you have to also consider though that yes, there's 9 that we play, but I counted at least like 3 that are we don't know. They're not a no. They're just we don't know. We have no idea. Like we have a pretty good idea that Russell Wilson and Fields aren't great. We have a pretty good idea of that, but we have no idea about Drake May. We have no idea about JJ McCarthy. We have no idea about Anthony Richardson once he's on the field at the same time with Jonathan Taylor. So, there are some unknowns in there that could kind of turn around, and bite us. So that was just kind of my only reaction to what you said. But for the most part, yeah, not a ton of high echelon quarterbacks, that we play against, which is good for us. Because our defense can hold them to a pretty decent margin, and you know how Aaron does when he has his teams, his defense holding the other team to under 14 points, or I'm sorry, under 17 points.
So John, I'm going to jump in really quick again, and I just want to say this though is looking at the schedule, right? Taking Aaron Rodgers into account. There aren't a lot of games where the Jets have a quarterback deficit, right? And I think that's
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I think looking at it, even with Josh Allen, it's not like Josh Allen versus Zach Wilson, right? It's such a, amazing thing to have him. So I think that's another thing that needs to be taken into account. John, go ahead, and I will not interrupt you
I
this
would
time.
be surprised if the Jets. I think the biggest underdog matchup in terms of a point spread would potentially be the Niners. It'd be like 4.5 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the line is on that.
So
but
can I just? I'm sorry to jump in. It's 6.5.
fucking A, dude.
I'm telling you the line. It's 6.5 right now. Jets
It
are
is
getting
6.5.
6.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get your money in on the Jets now.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay.
6.5.
So you want to start it off with 49ers? You're saying, what are you saying about 49ers?
Okay. So I was thinking if in terms of Vegas betting odds, right? Against if you did the spread on every one of these games, I would have said that would have been the biggest spread against us.
Okay.
Regardless, everything else is definitely within that number, right? The 6.5, as is right now, right? Based on this, no matter what the team matchup would be, because we already knew what the home and away was, just not the order, right? But I would have said that would have been the biggest spread against us, and so basically the Jets are going to be within a touchdown amongst every team. It's basically what it is, and probably maybe more than a touchdown against some of these teams, like that Thursday night game against the Pats. I could very well see that be like a 9.5 point spread.
Got it.
But what I did was I also did something on the side right now, which was basically I have a Google sheet that has all the opponents listed out, and we're going to do a win-loss against it. Are you guys down to do that?
Yeah, that's what I have one set up on my screen too.
Cool. Well, I did it, so whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So suck my balls. All right, there we go. Share screen.
Shut up, John.
That's our schedule breakdown. Okay, but do you have it where it totals up the wins and losses up top?
No, I just did it a little while ago.
Yeah, exactly. So okay. And
I didn't want to show mine. I'm just saying I'm ready to go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
So
John thinks everything's a challenge.
John is
like challenging my manhood, bro.
Yeah, John's like, and my Excel skills. You can do Excel? Come on, John.
In the case my company doesn't work out, and someone wants to hire me for Excel work.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
Oh, so this is what's going to get you a job.
Yes, it is.
It's our podcast and 18
Dude, you
people.
you never know. Weirder shit has happened.
All right, so adding on San Francisco. What do you got?
I'm going to say loss.
Loss. Okay. Monty?
NFC champs coming off the Super Bowl, number 1 or 2 in every power rankings. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Loss?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vegas spread on this one. I hope it's closer. I mean, we still just don't know how they're all gonna gel with a full team, so I'll go loss there. Okay, 0-1 start the year. Great start, boys. Okay,
it's just what.
Yeah, well,
and also it's a away game in California. That's the other thing.
Right. Which is
the weather would be perfect though.
Yeah, but you won't be feeling perfect.
Yeah, Rodgers is pretty awesome on Monday Night Football. Remember the last time he started?
Listen, guys. 0-1
is no big deal.
Is fine.
And you know who else is really good on home openers at home? Offensive minded coaches. Yeah.
So you're saying that Hackett has the advantage over Kyle Shanahan?
No. I'm saying Shanahan has I said offensive-minded coaches, head coach.
Monty, that was sarcasm. If you watched my face, I get it. All right, so let's go.
The thing that makes it very interesting why it is a winnable game, right? I would give it I'd say maybe 40% chance of winning that game, right? But I would say this: the Niners on paper are worse than they were last year. They are. It's just
I would say I agree with you. I think it's a loss 21 or 17-14, right? If they get smashed, I'd be surprised. I think it's going to be a close game. And it'll be a close loss.
Yeah. For now on, when I'm trying to talk, I'm gonna fucking mute you guys because say about the Niners, okay? Last year we saw them play one really tough defense that is very similarly built to the Jets. It's the Ravens. That game was in San Francisco. Ravens have fucking mauled them. That's a secondary first team that gets a lot of pressure, although they get it differently than we do.
Yeah.
The offensive line is still pretty decent. So, Trent Williams is really the offensive line on that one. And they lost a lot of pass rushers, San Francisco. They lost Chase Young. We got Ken Law now. I think is it Armstead? I think he's gone too now, right?
Yeah, Armstead's gone.
Yeah. So a lot of that rotation is gone. Well, then the reason why this is happening to the Niners is because even with the luxury of paying a quarterback $1 million a year that produces like a premium quarterback, they still paid Bosa, they still paid Trent, they still paid Kittle, they paid Debo, and they may not even have Ayuk by this time. Or Debo, one of those two. Either one could happen. So on paper, they're worse. It's more winnable than just a normal L. I am probably going to slam the Jets on that 6.5.
Armstead went to the Jags, by the way.
But
Thanks.
I agree, John. I think I'm going to take that 6.5 as well.
Yeah, I am too. Okay. All right. Now we got Tennessee. I think this is the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
It's a loss, right?
Listen. So
bro, you caught me off. I was not expecting you to say that. You caught me off guard. I was like, what? My stomach dropped. I was like, no, I'm gonna have to argue this man down into the ground.
It should be a win. It should be a win on paper.
Yeah. Listen, should we go in the same order in terms of who makes?
I made the joke, so I just put the W there because I was fucking.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say W as well, right?
Monty.
Yeah, they are stacked at wide receiver. I will say that, but Will Levis is throwing the ball. So.
Yeah, he is throwing the ball.
And also, put it in.
Yeah, mind you, this too. That the Jets had a really bad offensive line last year, but the team that actually had the worst offensive line, according to the stats, was the Tennessee Titans last year.
Yeah,
and going by the quarterback axiom, I do not believe in Will Levis. So
yeah, and the thing that would have scared me, because the Jets were a little weak on the run defense last year, would have been Derrick Henry, but he is no longer a Tennessee Titan. Correct. It is the Tony Pollard show, I believe now, right?
Yeah, and Tony Pollard behind that line. I'm not.
That does not scare me one bit.
They're just going to be throwing all the time, and it's just going to be. Hopefully, Sauce gets a pick that game.
Oh yeah, that's a good over under. Fucking Mayonnaise gonna throw over 1.5 picks. I think that's a good bet. That's a great. Yeah, I'll find that bet immediately. Let me just take a note.
Go for it.
The Jets spread over on Levis Hicks. Okay. Yeah, whatever that is, even if it's 2.5, you just take it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Patriots, add none.
Their skill position players are going to be young. Don't care about the quarterback. Defense is rebuilding. I think that's a win.
New coach, new QB situation, not a ton of strong weapons, and they're playing us at home. I think we whooped that ass.
I think we whooped that ass too. I just don't.
That game shouldn't even be close. That should be. We should just bend over the pace.
I gotta
fucking you guys. I swear to God. Okay, but the fucking thing about that game, right? So you're going against a rookie quarterback, most likely at that point. I think Brissett. I think they're just gonna. I don't know. Maybe they go with Brissett, right? And Brissett does scare me a little bit, but nothing on that offense scares me at all, right? But interestingly enough, Drake May is basically another Will Levis, just another mayonnaise-looking motherfucker, basically.
Yeah.
No, fair.
Yeah, so I like that.
And also, on top of that, home opener at night,
Yeah.
100%.
If they went into that game 2-0 after beating the Niners and just destroying the Titans, that place would be rocking. I kind of dislike that it's week 3 that our opener is, right? It's been a while.
Yeah, I wish it was week 2 at least,
Yeah, but that's okay. Okay, yeah. Denver, the Zach Wilson revenge game. Monty.
Yeah, let's go. I definitely think we take this one down. The Broncos suck. New QB, Jerry Judy's gone, and we beat the shit out of them last year. We should still have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder too about because I mean, I don't know if you believe in it, but Aaron kind of sticks up for his friends and people he believes in, and Hackett is his boy, and Sean Payton shitted on his boy last year, and he didn't get a chance to really avenge it, even though we whooped them. I don't think Aaron forgot that, or I hope he didn't forget it. So I hope he's playing with a fat chip on his shoulder, and we crush the Broncos. I think it's going to be
over on Rodgers touchdowns and yards.
Yeah, I like that.
Whatever that is, just do it.
First the Broncos and at home. Come on, let's go.
Betting advice from degenerates.
Fair. I would say, I agree it's going to be a win, but not because, I mean, look, obviously there may be some of that revenge factor. It is what it is. I just think that Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and Bo Nix are that Spider-Man meme where everyone's pointing at
each
person.
other.
Yeah, they're the same guy. So it doesn't matter. Sean Payton, yeah, I guess you're a genius. Cool. But it doesn't matter because this Jets defense at home is going to be so locked in that it doesn't matter. So this is another W.
Yeah, my only fear in this game is somehow the fucking the Broncos fucking curse is it's not Mile High, it's the Broncos and ABT.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, listen.
I thought about that too. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Take the over on ABT getting hurt. Yeah, that's sweet.
Don't say those words. All right, let's go to the next game.
All right, Minnesota in the UK, Mike. That's the wrong accent.
You're bad at accents and pronunciations, by the way.
It's okay with pronunciations.
Australia. All right.
What's Izzy's last name?
What's that?
What's Izzy's last name?
Abonaconda.
There you go.
Yeah.
He congratulated us. So thanks for getting it right, guys.
Yeah. Well, it took, we all. All right. Yeah, I think this one's a win. I mean, like, the one time we did play Minnesota recently, right? They had Kirk Cousins, right? And we had Mike White, and we should have won that game.
Should have won that game. Yep.
And the Vikings were far better back then. And Justin Jefferson actually didn't have that big of a game. I think he did have a touchdown, but it was like 30 yards or something like that. I could be wrong. And it wasn't on soft. I could be wrong on that. I know Dalvin Cook had a big game that game. And it was mostly a first half explosion, and the Jets came back. Braxton dropped the fucking 4th and goal pass, and they just kicked field goals instead of touchdowns, especially that Garrett Wilson 70-yarder. Anyway, that's not in Minnesota either, so it's really a neutral site game. I would expect the Jets to be favored in that game. I am taking the W. Anybody? Somebody?
Yeah. I agree. I think in that UK game, Rodgers played there, right? A couple of seasons ago when they played the Giants. So I think he has was that Jordan Love?
No. Well, I think they lost that game.
No. The Packers lost. I'm just saying that Rodgers has played there. The team has played there. I think they're going to get a win. I mean, again, it's the quarterback thing, and you're either playing against our guy Darnold or JJ McCarthy. They're going to smash either of them.
So this is the first game where I'm not 100% of what's going to happen. I'm I'm pretty sure we win that one, but it is a game it's in London, so we don't know how that's going to affect things. Could be weird. We don't know how JJ McCarthy is going to be. He might be a stud, might be, another CJ Stroud. We don't know. Addison's good. Justin Jefferson's really good at football. They got Aaron Jones now. I think he's still very good at football. Their offense is in a pretty decent place. So I lean towards us for sure heavily, but that's the first game where I'm just like it wouldn't totally surprise me if we didn't come home with the W. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the win. I'm 50. Yeah, win.
Yeah. Okay. The next one, the Bills. It's
All
Monday
right.
night too.
So Bills, I think if you go back, we've beat the Bills at home for the last like 2 years straight now. I think Saleh and company have Josh Allen's number. I think the Jets defense have Josh Allen's number. I don't think he beats us at home Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, fucking Friday. I don't care what it is. If he's playing in our house, I think he's got something, maybe he's developed kind of like a psychological thing, or maybe we just know how to beat him, but I think the streak continues. I think he doesn't beat us at home.
I agree.
And
with
their receivers got worse.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and that's what I was going to say. I agree with Monty. I think that, this Buffalo team, I think they've taken a step back across the board. I get that everybody looks at Josh Allen as a superhero, as an alien. Josh Allen.
He's kind of great.
I get him. I get it, but fuck Josh Allen. Fuck him and fuck the Bills. They're a fucking garbage team going into the season. John, their window has fucking closed. Jets win this one, and spoiler alert, they win in Buffalo again.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I think they split with the Bills. I think.
Yeah, I was going to save it till we get there, but yeah.
Just because, coming off of 4 wins in a row in a short UK week, this one makes me a little bit nervous that we had to do this one at home right after, But, I mean, at least it's not a West Coast game immediately after. Like, it would have been crazy if it was like Minnesota, then the next week at San Francisco or something like that.
Right.
That would have been fucking nuts. Yeah, I'll give them the win on this one just because, I mean, I haven't really quite looked at the Bills' schedule very well, but I know I think they have a challenging start. I could be wrong on that one. So I think that's what I saw, but I could be wrong on that. It was probably one of the leaks that I saw. But anyway, I'm going to give them the dubs too, just because, yeah, it seems like we're universally happy with this start. If we're 5-1 to start the season, or even 4-2, like hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell fucking yeah. Oh yeah, motherfucker, Stone Cold. But okay. We got Pittsburgh, and that one will be another primetime game. It's always tough. Pittsburgh's always tough, regardless of.
You know what? I feel like looking at this game at Pittsburgh, I don't know what to make of it in terms of like, how's the team? Like, there are a lot of factors when you get into like this part of the schedule, but I'm going to hold true to my axiom that every single game we look at, I'm going to assume Aaron Rodgers is healthy. And with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, even at Pittsburgh, the Jets are better. I'm going to say W here. I'm going to say W.
Go ahead, Monty.
I can't say W. It's too many in a row. First of all, it's just too good to be true. I think 100% we lose either this game or the Minnesota game. There's no way we beat Minnesota, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh at home. No way, no shot. Tomlin's a great friggin' coach. Their team is pretty set, and they really cleaned up in the draft. Like, don't sleep on their draft. Their draft, like, what they got? Roman Wilson. They got
the 2 linemen,
Faltanu. They not only did they upgrade well in the draft, they were already a decent team. They were a 10-7 team just last year with garbage in the quarterback room, like straight garbage. So now they have, I'm giving them the L because now they have, Fields, and they have Wilson. I think between the two of them and giving them till week fucking when do we play them? Week 7. Yeah, I think that they figure it out, and I don't think we beat them at home.
Cool. All right, I'm giving him the win on this one, and this for a couple of reasons. One, it's probably going to be Wilson starting, right? We saw what happened when you put Russell Wilson into a new offense. It does not look good. And then the second year, he looks a little bit better, right? Which is exactly what happened last year with Hackett. Well, not Hackett, with Sean Payton, who I think is a better offensive mind than whatever Pittsburgh has. Tomlin is a great coach. He's one of the better coaches. Actually, I think he's the longest tenured coach right now in the league. Maybe Harbaugh is, but it's one of those two, right?
Yep.
I just don't think Pittsburgh, weapons-wise, has anything that challenges the Jets' defense enough to put up a lot of points. I just don't. I mean, the way this offense looks right now, I mean, the line was last year, and it's a little bit better, yes, with the draft picks, right? But, like, it's still right? And offenses don't do well against the Jets' defense, right? I would compare this offense actually to the Broncos' offense last year in terms of, everything. O-line, although Denver line was actually a little bit better than most. The running backs were, pretty decent or talent-wise. Najee, Javante, right? The receivers, the Pickens is interesting. I just think that Sauce is just going to lock him
So
down.
I was going to say Sauce will erase him. So
Yeah, Sauce will erase it. I am taking the W there. And I'm also taking the W at New England. First sweep of New England in God knows how fucking long. I don't even know when was the last time we swept the Patriots? Was it 98? Was it even 98? I think they lost it.
It was a long time ago.
90s. But you know what? I will agree with you here, John. Like I take the W also because again, right? You're looking at it'll be week 9. They're not gonna have their quarterback situation straightened out. I mean, their 2 best receivers will be rookies. I just think the Jets defense will eat. And so yeah, I think it's another W.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I said what I said last time, and now we're at the Pats. It's still fairly early on date wise too. What date that is? It's not like it's gonna be like a snowed in game or anything crazy. Yeah, I as long as we're healthy, I think we beat them again. I think we sweep the Pats this year.
Yay! There's a plus 100 on the sweeping the Patriots, by the way, on FanDuel if you're interested. I think it's
that sounds good to me.
I kind of like that actually. I like us to sweep the Pats for sure this year.
Yeah, some more gambling tidbits. Okay, we got the Texans primetime game again. I'm gonna just say this right now. I know everyone loves CJ Stroud. He is good. I don't think he's elite yet. There's things about the coaching staff last year for the Texans. That was one of the better coaching jobs amongst all teams last year. The quarterback's coach, he immediately got promoted and he's out of the Texans right now. I forgot where he went, but they set Stroud up in a way where basically he made great reads, right? Given a lot of wide open throws, and his wild plays were more of those deep balls, where it's like, guy has like 2 steps, you hit him in stride. Stroud's excellent for that. I didn't see enough of the tight window throws from him last year to really think that this guy is a threat to thread the needle, right? And we saw last year when he had to go against the best secondaries. It was the Jets. It was raining, mind you, but he did jack shit, and I almost won a fuckload of money in a parlay. If only Devin Singletary got 9 receiving yards. For some reason, I bet the over on that. I don't know why. And he was close. The 3 pass attempts to him, and they all didn't go through. I was really pissed off. And the last one was to him. It would have been a 15-yarder, and he dropped it, and Stroud got concussed and got knocked out of the game. I was so fucking pissed off about that. Diggs, I think Diggs is a lesser version of himself. I don't think that scares me, right? I don't. The defense scares me a little bit on their end, but if Zach Wilson could put up 30 points on them, I'm not that worried. So I'm gonna give it the win. Damn, we're being too nice to these guys. 8-1.
Yeah, you know what though? But I think, listen, this was the same trajectory the Jets were on with a healthy Brett Favre, right? Like this team with a healthy upper echelon quarterback, actually scratch that, with a top 15 quarterback and that defense, I just don't know how you beat this team because that defense kept this team in games against better quarterbacks, against a better schedule with Zach Wilson and Mike White and Josh Johnson and Joe Flacco. And we can go quarterback, Tim Boyle, whatever you want to say. So I think this is a W at home. They beat them at home last time or last year. Same reasons as John said. Defense will be better. Offense will be better. It's a W.
So this is one of the ones I'm 50-50 on. But I'm going to lean to loss, if for no other reason than just I don't think we win this many games. But
yeah, that's the one thing that scares me.
You know, the Texans are pretty stacked too. I mean, Stroud's pretty good. They got Joe Mixon now. You know, you mentioned they got Diggs, and then they had the same receivers from last year. I mean, Dell doesn't suck, and Collins doesn't suck, and then now they have Diggs and Dalton Schultz, and they're pretty strong. They're a pretty strong team. I think that Stroud definitely was a rookie last year and had to get some chops underneath him. But I think that, I think he'll make that jump his second year with now that he's gotten such a stud upgrade at wide receiver. And let's not forget, Josh Allen didn't become Josh Allen until he got Diggs. Like the first year or whatever that he didn't have Diggs, and I do agree that Diggs is not, maybe not his peak self, but I still think he's very good. I think he is very good.
That was prime Diggs, not 30-year-old Diggs. So
I didn't see where he lost that much of a step though. He's just old. He's just older.
I mean, listen, right? Exactly.
Dude, even that game where they lost, he still put up almost 100 yards against us or something like that.
I mean, listen, he looks.
That was the Rodgers thing, Rodgers shocked the whole fucking stadium. That was just really
bad.
I guess, but we won that game, so you couldn't have shocked it. That it wasn't that bad of a shock.
Salah gave his fucking brouhaha talk in the second half, in the halftime, and they just fucking laid the pipe.
All right, so let's go.
Great game.
At Arizona, John, why don't you lead this one off?
Yeah, this one's a win. I don't care what Kyler Murray. I mean, that's the one. I will say this: running quarterbacks kind of scare me the most, and Kyler Murray is the most slippery motherfucker I've ever seen. I know Lamar gets the praise for being the running quarterback, but Kyler is fucking slippery, man. But it's just Kyler Murray. It's just Kyler Murray.
Ain't got nothing.
Marvin Harrison Jr. That'd be cool to kind of see how that matches up. Even still, I just don't see it though. I just don't. I see Arizona being a bottom feeder team. Maybe I would say this of all the teams in this league that would be considering drafting a quarterback next year. I think they're a contender, and I also think that Tennessee is a contender as well. Giving up after 2 years on Will Levis, the mayonnaise.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, New England, and Arizona are all.
New England just drafted one, so yeah.
No, I'm saying I think they're all picking pretty high next year.
Yeah, but New England's not going to draft a quarterback. Like I'm saying, quarterback needy teams going into next draft. I think Tennessee's the clear one, and I think Arizona is number 2.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that I think that we pick. I'm saying that just generally their draft picks are high, meaning they're not great teams.
They're not great.
But I also think just to go on that going into next year, I think the Raiders are there. The Giants are probably there. There are going to be a few teams that are quarterback needy. John walked away, so Monty, why don't you take the Cardinals? I'll go next.
No, you go ahead.
So you guys are W's here, right?
All right, I will. I know it's insane, but I'll say another win for the reasons that kind of John said is that one, like, yes, Kyler Murray, two, Marvin Harrison Jr. probably going to be great. How much more does James Conner have, in the tank? I don't know. Trey McBride, is he really going to take that next step? I don't know. Their defense is abysmal. So I know it's, out to the West Coast at Arizona. I think that's another one.
Actually, they picked up some. They did some work. They did some good work with their D line. They got
They're in a rebuild.
they got Jones, Nichols, Tonga, and they picked up those two. They picked up Darius Robinson and Xavier Thomas too. I mean, I think their defense isn't that bad, but I still think it's a win. It's still a win for us.
Yeah, after Cliff, they knew it was a rebuild.
Yeah, it's still a win for us, but I think that and I think they're a bottom feeder team, like John said, but I think they're a little better than maybe you might think.
Yeah. Okay. We're getting into the end of the season. This is the last game before the bye. It's Indianapolis. I really hate giving the Jets so many fucking wins. I really do.
Well, the losses are coming soon, so.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, there's no way they're gonna win fucking 9 straight. I mean, if they do, then I'm gonna have little Johnny's running around 9 months.
Jesus Christ!
I'm giving it a win. The Colts are. Who's their quarterback, right? Anthony
Richardson.
Another quarterback. It's gonna be interesting to see how he finally pairs with Jonathan Taylor, because he actually didn't get to see any of that last year.
No, not at all. Yeah, I said
that. Colts are a sneaky playoff contender. They are. The defense is always pretty decent. I don't know. I mean, this should be a win. This should be favored by 4.5 points at the very least. But obviously, if they win 9 straight going in, it's going to be inflated. But today, I would say they would be 4.5 points. Yeah. I'm making all my picks based on what I think the spread would be, right? And who would be favored in all these games, right?
So, I think
outside the Buffalo game, I don't see them not, and the Niners, I don't see them not being favored here.
I think the simpler way, and maybe the way you're kind of looking at it kind of feeds into this, is who's the better quarterback? If you, in my opinion, when you look at these games, right, the Jets defense is great. It's been great going on. This will be its 3rd year where it's great, right? Where have they struggled is the offense. So if you look at it, saying that the defense is going to be, let's just say, the 11th best defense in football, right? That's selling it short, the 11th best defense in football. But then you bring the offense and the quarterback from 32nd to 17th. That's such a big improvement. I think with all things being equal, with the Jets being healthy to this point, i.e. Rodgers playing, I got to give them the win here.
Cool. Thanks for speeding up when I said that in the comments. Okay. Monty.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what Anthony Richardson's gonna do, and like you said, we don't know how he looks. Playing with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. They did pick up an Adonai Mitchell, who I really liked as a wide receiver. I don't know, they're sneaky good, but not good enough.
Bye week, we don't have to worry. It's when you can plan your trip to go see whatever family you got on the other side of the planet.
Yeah,
Seattle. I'll go. I mean, I think they're just. I don't think they're that good. I just don't. I think the losses are coming though. And it's gonna be an ugly stretch going. This kind of feels like the second season of the Rex Ryan era, when They started off like really hot and they cooled down. Like we thought they were going to be the 1 seed and they did not. And that's kind of what the pace of this looks like right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Seattle going across the nation after we had a bye week. I just, yeah. Okay. Who else?
I
Yeah,
will
it's
I
a
will
win.
second I will second you. Win, new head coach Geno Smith or whatever. Yeah, win.
All right. This is going to be my second loss right here at Miami. I can't see the Jets winning that many games in a row. And also it's Miami. It's at that time of the year where there is the home field advantage there. I mean, I've been to an at Miami game when it's Jets during the daytime, and my
It's hot as
God.
balls.
Yeah, and I sat nearby the Jets sideline. It was actually a fairly cheap ticket. It was the Jay Cutler start game where he started, and then we knocked him out, and they blew like a 14 or 21 point lead to lose in overtime, basically. Matt Moore came in, and Dolphin fans kind of let me have it. They were doing JETS suck.
Yeah, they love to do that there.
I was like, you guys suck too, and then they're like, yeah. Yeah. So, Adnan, what do you got here?
I agree. I think Miami is going to be a little bit tougher than we expect.
Yeah,
I
for
think a
sure.
loss. I think Mike McDaniel at home in that weather, that's going to be a tough one.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a bunch of people, but, they got an offensive guru coach. They kicked the shit out of us last year twice, handily. Now they have home field advantage in the Heat. They're stacked at wide receiver now with the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. And, I don't think that's a win for us.
Yeah, I just, all right, fair enough. Okay, so that's a loss. I'll do that later just to sum up what the average win record is. Jags at Jags. I think you should stay in Florida during this time. That's actually kind of a nice time to be in Florida.
Yeah.
Jags
they might as well just stay there.
They might as well just stay there, enjoy the warm weather. And with the bye week before, they could just spend a whole month in Florida. That'd actually be kind of nice. It's good golfing weather at that time. Although it is not really hurricane season at that point there. You know what? I'm gonna scare us a little bit. I'm just gonna say they're gonna lose that game. You know what? I feel like sometimes this team doesn't respond well to losses. I mean, we've seen them lose 6 straight before and a whole bunch in a row. I think this will be an L. My gut tells me they're still going to be favored going into this game, and I think maybe Trevor bounces back a little bit. Is Peterson still the coach there, right?
Yeah.
But I will say this about Doug Peterson: I think he's on thin ice. I think he is. I think he gets fired.
Agree. No, agree 100%. I would say this is a win for me. I just think, they're better.
I don't know. I think last year was just an off down year for Trevor Lawrence. I think he bounced back. He bounces back. There's no way every QB from that class can be scrubs, can they? Brian Thomas Jr. they got now. I think Calvin Ridley maybe just wasn't the greatest fit. I mean, he did a little bit last year, but he wasn't like outstanding. I think I think with Brian Thomas Jr. and I think in a bounce back year, I think the Jags can beat us. So yeah, at home, they beat us.
Okay, fair enough. And then all right, so they beat us, right?
Yeah, they beat us.
Cool. All right, LA. I think this is where we bounce back. LA going into cold weather across the nation. I just don't. I know Stafford's great. I actually think Puka's going to take a step back this year. I think he is. I'm not as high drafting him. All right, fuck it, fantasy. In the first round, like he's being projected like late first, early second. I think it's going to be more Cooper Kupp, and I think the cornerbacks match up really well. I'm going to take the win there. Adnan, that would be you.
I know where we're going. I would say this is a loss. I'm really, really, really high on Sean McVay. I think he's just he's probably a top 3 coach. I think it's him, Reed, and Shanahan in the top 3 discussion, and I think 4 is very far away from those three. And I think he'll have that team ready. They're going to be fighting for the division. They'll probably be fighting for a top playoff seed. So I'm going to say a loss there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat there. I think McVay is a great coach. Puka and Cooper Kupp are studs. Stafford's a stud. They improved their secondary too. And plus we have way too many wins already in the column. I'm pretty sure this is a loss for us. They're a good team.
3 straight. Okay.
4
Bills.
straight for me.
I guess that's your next pick. Bills.
Yep.
Loss.
Yeah, loss for Bills, man. We won't beat them twice. I don't think we'll sweep the Bills. I think they're too good for us to sweep them twice, and we don't usually beat them at home. And this is gonna definitely be a snow game.
Yeah, I would say at Buffalo is going to be very tough. I don't think it's going to be a massacre like it was last season, but this is going to be, like you said, Monty, a snow game, 17-13, 13-10, something like that. But I give this one to Buffalo. So this is a loss.
Yeah. I hate to do it too. I just think they're going to split. Although if Buffalo ends up being really bad, this is a win. Yeah. Okay. Last game, Miami. I'll let Monty do it. Are you going to give him 5 losses to go into the playoffs? Or
I am not. I definitely don't think they're going to beat us twice for a number of reasons. I also think that, during that loss period, I think we're going to have guys down. I think, guys like Smith will be down. I think Aaron Rodgers might miss a couple games. I don't think they hold up for that long, which is another reason why I have so many losses there. Hard teams and tough injury stuff, but I think this is where we start to get people back. I think that we won't want to go out like that, not at home. I think we definitely win at home versus the Dolphins because fuck the Dolphins. I hate the Dolphins.
Fuck the Dolphins.
I agree. I think coming to New York, it's going to be a lot for them. In this weather, it's going to be cold. It's going to be a game where, I know I'm going 13-4. Realistically, I think it's a game the Jets are going to have to win to clinch the division potentially. But I think this is a win, and, fuck Miami and those bullshit fans, and fuck Odell Beckham, and fuck them all.
Yeah. I think this is a win, and I almost feel like I gotta fucking edit some of my back stuff, but I'm just not gonna do that but basically, yeah, fuck those guys. Just that's really the reason why I have it here. And I would bet that's gonna be the Sunday night game.
Yeah, and I also think, right, looking at this schedule, I think Monty is probably closest to right. I don't think they lose 4 in a row. But I think 13-4 is probably pie in the sky, right?
I think we're an 11-win neighborhood team.
Yeah, I think 11, 12.
12-5, basically.
Yeah, I think 11 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say this, right? We just chalk up one of these fucking losses, to losses.
Yeah,
let's say,
like one of those middle, like
let's just
Buffalo,
say
not Buffalo, but maybe like Houston. Houston could be that loss, right?
All right, let's just do
like,
that.
I think we can do Houston
as well, even though I disagree. I mean, that's basically 11.5 wins to 5.5 losses. So that's kind of where they're having at, I mean,
yeah.
10.5. But let's just save it that. Okay, so that was fun, right?
No, I like it. Yeah.
And
let's keep this so we can
look back at it.
So we look back at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, so much can fucking change, basically. So much can fucking change in that, but that's okay.
100%. I mean, look, injuries, whatever, can change everything. But I think with all things being equal, this is an 11 or 12 win team.
Yeah, it is. All right, let me move our faces to a nice special place. There we go. Okay, so now we have a second segment that we wanted to talk about today because it came up in our chat and I was fucking ready to go. So All right. So basically, we're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers, Tucker Carlson interview, which I think is the more interesting topic because everyone's doing schedule talk. And over here,
it's not more interesting than the schedule. So
He's gonna put his tinfoil hat on.
Aluminum foil hat at some point because a lot of stuff was talked about. That's what I was.
Just go ahead and put it on now.
Yeah, I am gonna put it on now. Cover my bald ass head like the fucking Tiger King dude said. All right, here we go. Well, okay. All right, so basically, Aaron Rodgers. Hang on. How does that look? It looks okay. Yeah. It's
looks
like
great. It looks like a do-rag, actually.
It does kind of look like a do-rag. I'll do something. You know what? It doesn't matter. We know what this is. It's some bald, dude.
Yeah, this is embarrassing, is what it is. But continue.
Right, there we go. All right. So
yeah, you gotta have the little
higher though. It's
there
gotta be higher.
Now you got it.
But it's gotta be in the middle.
Now you got it. Boom.
All
right, go ahead.
Now you look like a troll.
Yeah, I need that
in the middle.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, Aaron Rodgers had a 2-hour and change interview with Tucker Carlson. Both of them I love, but that's a whole different discussion. But basically, there was different topics that came up, right? There was Vladimir Putin, right? And the thoughts there, the vaccine, the NFL players using fake vaccine cards, or basically, copying cards and using them to basically say they were vaccinated, right? There was stuff about Pat Tillman, how there's some conspiracy on that he was killed at war, that the friendly fire shot was on purpose, which, I heard that and I was like, that was interesting. Right. There was some other psychedelic stuff involved and all that.
Talks about the dark room and that experience.
Yeah. And some talks about the VP nomination request that basically RFK Jr. went with. I'll let Monty go into it because he brought it up, and I got my aluminum hard hat on, whatever the fuck this is. So Monty, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, it's just I rather not this is it's funny. It's like I wonder if this is also like baked into the price of why we got Aaron Rodgers on the deal, besides his age, because of also all the fucking circus shit that you got to deal with when you bring on someone like that. Because I mean, no one else's quarterback is on fucking Tucker Carlson, spouting off fucking conspiracies and doing all kinds of all this extra shit. I wish we could just focus on football. We're not in a place where we can have diverted focus and we can afford to have all these distractions and stuff like that. I was just not super happy about it. I don't necessarily listen, one thing about Rodgers, he doesn't take super strong positions, but he lets you know how he's feeling, and the way he leans, I just don't lean with him in a lot of things. Some things, I may or may not agree, but most things I don't lean with him. I just would rather not hear about it or see it or anything. I kind of wish this was something that stayed off to the side. When he gets us to our our Super Bowl promised land, then he can do all the Tucker Carlson and whatever interviews he wants to do, Glenn Beck, all that stuff. I don't care. Go interview with Candace Owens, Kanye West, Trump. I don't care. But
I love Candace.
But I do care about just the distraction level of it. But I'm also it's not like the worst thing in the world, but some of the shit he was saying was just I don't know, it's just kind of weird and off base to go into that in depthly. I think he reminds me of the saying where a fool with a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. I think he kind of thinks his level of understanding of certain things is maybe higher than what it is. There is some things he's definitely, I think, more educated than probably the average football player, but I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah,
go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on a lot of that, Monty. And I think Aaron Rodgers also said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit because I don't remember exactly what he said verbatim, but it was kind of to this effect that we need to keep everything that is non-football winning out of the building.
There you go.
And he's
Great point.
bringing all of the non-football bullshit smoke into the building. And listen, if you love Aaron Rodgers' points of view, okay, fine. If you hate them, that's fine too, right? I look at Aaron Rodgers from this perspective. Do I agree with a lot of what he says? No. Does he have the right to say every word he says? Exactly. Absolutely. However, when one of those words can lead to Rich Cimini going to Sauce and saying, hey man, you hear what Rodgers said? What do you think? Or where you can get the anonymous sources to go to Diana Rossini or Zach Rosenblatt and say, hey, here's what we're hearing about Rodgers. That's what drives me insane. Rodgers, do whatever you want outside of the Jets as long as it doesn't impact the Jets. And this will impact the Jets because, like I said in our group chat, these people, Rossini, Rosenblatt, Cimini, right? All these guys, Connor Hughes, Costello, all they want to do is take a blowtorch to the Jets. There's a reason why they don't break any news. There's a reason why they don't know anything happening with free agent signings. I love Douglas, but it's not because he's a mastermind, secretive guy. It's because they don't give a shit about it. All they care about is controversy. All they care about is this nonsense. And it is going to bleed into the Jets season because you know what? At some point, he's going to say something on McAfee on Tuesday. I know John will say, it's the player's day off. Who cares? It's his day off. What's the big deal? He can say what he wants on his day off. But on Wednesday, hypothetically, let's say they smash the Niners 31-10 on Monday night. Smash, eviscerate them. And then Tuesday afternoon on the player's day off, Aaron Rodgers goes on McAfee and says all of this insanity. Then what happens? On Wednesday, it's not about the San Francisco win. It's not about, hey, you guys played awesome. It's about, hey, Sauce, what do you think about what Rodgers said? Hey, Quidden, what do you think about what Rodgers said? Hey, CJ, you agree with Rodgers? And it turns into, and we're going to go back in time to when another A-Rod, right? Alex Rodriguez went from the Seattle Mariners to the Texas Rangers. The Mets could have signed him, but they didn't. And Steve Phillips had a great line. He said, we're a 25-man roster, not 24 plus one. Because what Alex Rodriguez wanted was a private plane. He wanted exceptions to what the team didn't have. So yeah, it's cool to a point, but there's going to come a point where it becomes the, 53-man roster where it will look like it's 52 plus one. And this team, this regime, this organization cannot afford that. And I want zero part of Aaron Rodgers talking about these things Because it will be a distraction to the team.
My turn now, right? I could have masturbated during that whole amount of time it took you to fucking. Okay, I felt like doing it because, all right, and this is my segment now, part of the segment, so no fucking interruptions. Who the fuck cares? It's fucking middle of fucking May. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. It's the middle of fucking May, all right? This guy is just doing a fucking interview. I mean, like, Rodgers is a critical thinker, right? And, like, some things he said on the interview were very interesting, like, distrust for government, which, I'm leaning more towards these days just because, there's some things the government does, do they have the best interest in the people, right? And that's kind of what a lot of the beginning part of it was, right? I mean, for fuck's sakes, if you were based in New York, right? I don't know if you remember, but Blasio was fucking tempting people to take the vaccine if they ate French fries, right? For free French fries, right? I mean, there's just stupid shit like that. Like, I understand that people are very, very one side or the other on the vaccination stuff, right? That thing tends to piss people off and exacerbates comments, when one are made in a direction disagrees with you, right? So, and like, I didn't think anything he said was too outrageous. I mean, like, I know like one of the headlines that got the attention of us doing this was that, what was it? Rodgers said Putin was smart, right? That was basically kind of one thing that was like came up. And then I was just like, I mean, like, first off, the guy became the leader of a fucking country. You got to be at least somewhat decently smart to do that. I'm
gonna lose my shit, man.
Why is that so fucking controversial? I mean, like, a lot of what he was saying made some good. No, it's my fucking segment. I'm gonna fucking mute you. I muted you. Okay.
Wow, you muted him.
And I just unmuted myself.
I could just remove you from the stage. Actually,
no, just go ahead. I won't say anything. Just go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. But basically, he was just like, one way for fucking the government to control is to create a common enemy, which is something that came out of the 1984 book. Like, I don't think a lot of that was totally outrageously crazy what he was saying. I can't
take you seriously with this silver fucking hat on.
Well, you got to fucking deal with it.
And with the words you're
saying.
I'm
fucking, goddamn it, I'm interrupting. I'm moving you guys from both the stage. I swear to fucking God. I let you guys fucking talk, and every time I have to talk.
Just go, bro. Just go.
Well, shut the fuck up then. Okay, so essentially like this, like, Rodgers has a distrust for the government, right? And he is more than free to echo that, right? And, there's always been the side where the government kind of is in the ears of the media, basically, right? So, like, the fact that, and first off, this is a distraction. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. I mean, the most distracting thing in the football world last year was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, right? 100%, right? Travis is going to Argentina for the fucking bye week, blah, 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 bullshit. They lost 4 and 6 games, in a stretch, and everyone's like, are the Chiefs even going to make the playoffs? Guess what? They made the fucking Super Bowl. And, Travis Kelce is up there in terms of the lead of the league players, a top 10 player in the league when he's playing, right? Rodgers is kind of in the same echelon, right? Michael Jordan, when he fucking had that interview, I forgot which NBC interviewer it was, but basically saying he wasn't a gambling addict and he had the glasses on. That was a fucking huge ass distraction, right? Guess what? He still fucking beat the Suns to win his 3rd straight and his first three-peat, right? The team, right? If you talk about this as being a distraction to the team loves this fucking guy, Aaron Rodgers. That's why they made him most inspirational guy. I think in terms of distractions or things that are perceived as distractions for the teams, I think that it's more of a distraction for the fan base and the reporters and the media than it is to the actual physical team. It's them doing their job and all that. I mean, I can't really think of one thing that didn't involve a suspension, right? Like a Ray Rice thing that really impacted a team, right? In terms of an off the field distraction. I really can't. I mean, Antonio Brown running off the field, which basically was a suspension, right? I just don't really see it, or I mean, unless it's like a quarterback playing really poorly. It's fucking May. Just chill the fuck out. It's just a fucking interview. It's May. And it was on a Tuesday as well. It was on a Tuesday.
So John, what I had said again is that, and I said this in our group chat, right? These things snowball, right? And on top of that, again, I made the reference in my point when I was speaking earlier is that what happens on a Tuesday
in May?
or a Tuesday in October when he's on Pat McAfee and they just lost 21-10 and he goes for 107 yards, no touchdowns, and interception, and they lose. And then the next week, they lose again. And they lose again, right? Monty showed us in our exercise, which, John, you and I were probably too light on them. Monty was a little bit right. What happens after a couple of games in a row where they aren't state of the art, where Aaron Rodgers looks like a 40-year-old? And then every Tuesday on his day off, he's going on Pat McAfee and running his mouth
About what?
about all of this stuff.
What is he going to run his mouth about the team? Like, have you ever seen
Dude,
Rodgers?
but that's my point.
He's always accepted accountability. I mean,
It doesn't matter because, again, then the whole conversation is, hey, you guys have lost a few games, and now what do you think about Aaron saying X? What do you think about Aaron saying Y? Do you agree? The conversation, the narrative gets shifted from the team to Aaron Rodgers, which impacts every single person in that locker room. And John, I can see you've never been in a locker room before, at least a real one, right? So, like,
muting.
Hey, I'm just calling it like it is.
I've never been in a locker room, dude.
Tell me about a locker room you've been in. Tell me about a locker room you've been in.
I mean, I was varsity captain, for soccer, all throughout high school from freshman year. I was captain my senior
Football
year.
locker room.
Yeah, well, soccer. I never got to play football, but honestly, It's still kind of the same thing. And I was the goalie, so one of the more important positions on the fucking field.
What I would also say,
if we lost, I get a lot of blame for it. I always took accountability.
Yeah, and I'm sure,
and I still play. I still fucking play.
And I'm sure if you ran your mouth, your teammates would be like, our
About
goalie, the most.
If I ran my mouth about non-football stuff, my teammates are going to come after me.
If
there's millions of dollars on the line, and
if
people
you don't
paychecks
play
non-football
like
stuff, that's the thing.
Dude,
it's all about non-football related stuff.
But here's the thing: is it bleeds into the football. Listen, if Aaron Rodgers goes 13-4, like you and I think he will, John, then yeah, no issue.
Then say
he has to win to be able to have a voice. Is that what you're saying?
But
he has to win to be having this level of distraction. Who else? Who else?
He can't talk his mind.
But who else is that level of distraction from their team's organization? Who else is on that level right now? You said Jordan before. That was, by the way, that was the Ahmad Rashad interview.
Football-related topics. He doesn't talk about football in a negative way,
It doesn't have to be football-related, though.
Right.
Why? Well, all right. So, question this: Sauce plays video games hardcore, right, on the side. Isn't that more you could argue that's as big of a distraction?
But no, it's not
because that only works with him. That's only about him. That's not about.
And he sits. Hold on. But he also.
Bottling up everything inside.
No, but you also have to think there's a significant part of the Jets fan base who doesn't agree with that kind of shit. There's a significant part who does.
So what about Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce when they were doing their podcast?
They don't say anything controversial.
What do they say that's controversial on there? Our podcast is less controversial than Kelsey's podcast. They don't say shit.
We've been shut down by YouTube.
For what? For sucking too bad, probably.
Yeah, probably. I'm just saying, I don't see this a big deal, man. I don't see any of it as a big deal. I think it's all noise that's for the fan base.
Dude, it's a really big deal, man. It really is.
No, it's not.
And because it's the New York market, it will be exact. Yeah, now you say, okay, it's May. Who cares? But again, what happens if we look at, can you bring up the schedule the schedule simulation we did? Bring that up.
No.
No, bring it up because I want to show a point. Bring it up.
No.
Bring it up. Bring it up because I want to show a point. Bring it up.
I gotta find it real quick. I closed the window for some fucking.
Bring it up because
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with it, and it's completely valid because Monty had a stretch. If it goes that way, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to say, hey, you know what?
Blame Aaron Rodgers because he talked on fucking Tucker Carlson and shit like that.
No, dude, no.
It's gotta be it's gotta be all the talking off the field. That's the reason why they lost.
Well,
They weren't ready. They're in the game.
It's not, John. Go down. Go to the end of the schedule. It's not the reason why they lost, right? It will
because
never
Aaron
be
Rodgers
the
had to
reason
talk
why.
about something that was not football related.
Right. So look at Monty's simulation. Those 4 losses in a row. Let's say that happens, and after every one of those losses, right, Aaron is going on Pat McAfee and talking about that nonsense. What are you going to say, John? You're going to say, hey, man, I'm so happy we've lost 3 in a row. Thank God Aaron is talking about vaccines.
They're not related. They're not related, dude.
They will. But they will.
They're not related, though.
They will be related after 3 losses in a row.
Listen, I don't necessarily feel as strongly as Adnan does about this point. I do kind of agree. But I will just say it just comes down to, Rodgers taking, I think there's an alienation factor there. I think, there are fans and stuff like that who don't agree, who are not going to feel, great to hear that coming out of the quarterback for their team. There's that. There's also, like Adnan said, the New York market is a very large market. Sometimes they're starved for news. They're not always, but sometimes they are. All it takes is for him to say something like this on a week where it's a slow news week. Everyone takes it and runs with it for some reason. You get a lot of, negative press, negative whatever, and if you believe even at all about Vegas or anyone having influence over the NFL, maybe they pull in their little favors and, we get a few bad calls, if you want to go on the conspiracy side, since you got your tinfoil hat on, that's definitely a possibility. If the stuff that Rodgers is saying, unfoundedly, like Jimmy Kimmel being, and stuff like that, I think that's just as plausible then. So, who's to say that the NFL doesn't, wreak some sort of, revenge on us? You think, you could argue it already. Look at the first game we're at, 49ers, with the player who took Rodgers down last season on that team, but, versus a very tough defense that could, really put the screws to him if the offensive line isn't gelling. You could conspiratorially argue that they already are taking some retaliation against us, and that might get worse if he speaks out too much out of turn. I don't know. I'm not
got hurt because
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's just a lot there that you're drumming up. You're stirring the pot.
Right.
You're poking the bear. You're hitting the hornet's nest, and you don't have to. You don't have to do that. You could do that, or you could do that once he's done. Once he's done with football.
Let me go to the other side of the coin of this. Who is more controversial? Aaron Rodgers and whatever he's been saying, or Colin Kaepernick when he took the knee?
Aaron Rodgers, hands down, because the point about Aaron Rodgers is Colin Kaepernick, whether you agree or not, his stance was against one thing, right? Aaron Rodgers is against vaccines. He's for Putin. This, that,
He's
all
for
the
Putin.
things.
Did you listen to the interview?
Listen.
In fairness, they didn't really go into it, but he was favorable. It wasn't like he didn't go on a tirade. It was pretty much just that line and maybe like a couple others.
And that
it wasn't a lot, but that's enough.
But
that soundbite's enough.
Basically, what they're saying was that basically, the media does pin Russia as bad, all that, right? And that's literally what the vast majority of what they were saying. They basically just hate everything Russian because it's Russia, right, and all that.
And that's really the most controversial thing he actually said about Putin, if that makes sense, right? Like
Right.
that's not nearly as controversial as potentially what Colin Kaepernick did, which is basically taking the
No, he did also call him smart, thoughtful,
Right,
all these
exactly.
other things. He had a nice string of compliments for him.
Wait, he said that he wished the sitting president of the United States
That too.
cared enough about U.S. history the way Putin cares about Russian history.
I didn't think there was anything controversial with that.
That is kind of a slap. That's a slap.
It's a slap against Biden, but it doesn't mean that's not wrong.
It's a slap in the face. John,
you don't know
it's
that.
like, John, it's like saying that somebody says something positive about the Patriots, and as Jet fans, we're like, no, that's cool. I got it. Anything positive about the Patriots is go fuck yourself. Anything positive about the Dolphins is go fuck yourself. Anything positive about the Bills is go fuck yourself. Anything positive about Russia is go fuck yourself. And that's it.
He's all in.
I'm all in, man.
Tell him how you feel, son.
Get the fuck out of here, man. I love Aaron Rodgers, but you can't say shit like that, man.
That was like the least positive thing about Russia. It was literally just like, hey, like during the interview that he had with Tucker, that he sounded thoughtful.
The least positive is still positive, man.
I just need to be talking to him about it. That's all I'm saying.
It's an observation. What's wrong with an observation?
It's like your whole argument with Becton, a piece of garbage is still garbage, right? A slight compliment to
Becton,
Russia.
if you're watching this, I'm sorry, buddy.
And by the way,
is more controversial.
What's that?
Your take on Becton and your huge stance that he is such a piece of shit because he got injured twice.
Hold on.
It's more controversial than anything Roger said about Putin.
Mekhi Becton is a great human being. I love him
as a person. I mean, he's also a piece of shit, and then saying
he means that football.
He's a garbage football player. Great human.
For the Jets.
Love him. Right. And I hope he goes and it's an all-pro. I really do. But it's fair enough. But with Russia and the United States, John, you're a Yankee fan. That's Yankees Red Sox, man. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna show some subjectivity and rationale to it. I thought the Red Sox, when they tried to go after Billy Beane and like to do their thing, with the money, and they had a great run. They had a great fucking run. Is that so controversial that me as a Yankee fan says the Red Sox had a great run after they came back to 3-0?
I will say
it's not controversial. I would say it's like, I mean, basically, like, here's an example. Like, we used to work for one employer, Ryan, right? We probably all don't like him, but we do agree that he had some redeeming qualities that were at least, admirable. It's kind of like that in this situation. I don't think it's like saying one nice thing about somebody who's seen as a universal enemy is that bad. I don't think it's that bad. And
that's not the point. It's not about how bad or not it is. Like, we could get into that debate, but for me, it's just, it doesn't even need to be talked about by him in that they're only talking to him about it because he is a kind of a machine for that manufactures these like crazy gaffe moments. You know what I mean? He just like says these like things that are, out there in terms of compared to what the average, person is probably thinking. And not only is it out there, it's also very unrelated to football. Like, and it's also outside of the realm of his knowledge too. It's not like he's an expert. They're just talking to him. So it's like
opinion.
But it's like being it's like,
man, why can't he have an opinion?
Dude,
why is he only know football?
Listen, he can. Look, he can
play football. We know that's not real good money.
But hold on.
That Tom Brady was so funny.
Yeah.
Tom Brady roast. Oh my god.
He can have an opinion, man. He can. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't.
He's just quite loud about his opinion.
point exactly, and my point is that have your opinion. You know what? You know where I'd be fine with if Aaron Rodgers did this stuff now, and on September 1st he said, "I won't go on McAfee until the season is over." If you're telling me this is just off season, I'm all in, man.
Like,
have your theories, have all your stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it in season, it has to be the Kelsey show. It has to be, oh my God, I'm a fucking dummy and I'm dating Taylor Swift. It can't be. Oh, and by the way, I think our president's a moron and I love Vladimir Putin. Whether you believe that or not.
I know, but
it's you know what it's like. It's like Tom Brady, right? Like Tom Brady's a Trump guy. He's like friends with Trump. They're like, you know, cool or whatever. But you don't hear about it every freaking week. He's not on Pat McAfee talking about it every freaking week. He can have his opinion. I respect it because he's not out there throwing it in everyone's face every freaking week. Now, you know, with Rodgers, it's like you hear it all the time. He's always being, you know, he's always having to bring these things out and talk these things through. And like, I'm like, not right now. That's my main thing too. It's also not right now. Like another thing too. It's not about May. It's when we're in a historic losing streak, when we haven't won a fucking playoff game in, what was the last time we won a playoff game, John?
2010.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear about this shit when it's 14 years going on that we haven't won a playoff game. Let's win. Let's win some playoff games and then talk about whatever you want to talk about. How about that? Let's shut up and play for now.
I'm just saying this. Separate whatever the fuck these guys want to do on the outside of football, right? Because they have a right to do that. They don't have to be football 24/7, 365. They have a day off, right? And we're not in the fucking season.
Right. Again, John,
they're getting ready for the season now, though. They're not training. They should be focused. I know he should be focused on OTA.
He's got Corley staying in his fucking guest house.
He shouldn't be doing OTAs on Tuesday and then Tucker Carlson on Wednesday. Like no,
right. That's exactly
let's interview took place on Tuesday.
I know that. But John, I'm just saying. But John, in general,
it's Monty's point is my point. Sorry to cut you off, Monty. My bad. I'm just so annoyed about this. Is that again, you keep saying, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Whatever. My point again is on a Tuesday in November when they've lost a couple of games and Rodgers hasn't looked great because he's 40 years old and he's talking this shit on Pat McAfee on his day off. It rubs
hasn't happened yet, though. You're just saying something that hasn't happened yet. That's the whole thing I'm trying to get at.
But the thing is, him doing that now before we've even won anything is the same as that. That's you're saying it's not, but it is
a Super Bowl. So
it is the same as that. He hasn't done that all as a Jet.
Right, and John,
when he does that as a Jet, then he can
his pornography take, which I didn't think was too terrible.
He can get in a rap battle with Kendrick Lamar and Drake for all I care if he's winning games for us. But right now we didn't sign him for all this. That's not what we signed him for.
Let me put this to you. I'm going to ask you this, and it's going to be a little sensitive because Colin Kaepernick. All right, you're black, right? Let's be honest. Kaepernick was standing up for black people, right? When you were a Niners fan at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that and let's say you supported his cause, right?
Yeah.
How much would that infuriate you in terms of that as a distraction, right? At that time.
So there's a fundamental difference between Cap and what Rodgers. Rodgers is kind of going out of the way to go against the grain, to talk about things that are fairly consensus, like it's pretty consensus that we do have free and fair elections in this country. It is pretty consensus that the COVID-19 vaccine was helpful in reducing hospital overload, reducing things like severity of the actual illness itself. There's a lot of things there that are what most people support and believe in. Rodgers is like specifically going against the grain on a bunch of those things, which again is his right, but it's just not, we're not trying to hear all that now. And it's not the same as Kaepernick kneeling down because black kids are getting shot in the street. There's a big difference there.
And also
doing that, kneeling during a national anthem right before a game started.
But hold on.
But I'm asking you this.
And look, that was distracting too. I'm not going to disagree, but it had a purpose. It had an intention.
Yeah.
So saying that everything Rodgers saying has no purpose.
That's my
not really a purpose. No,
that's my question.
What is the purpose? What causes he really? He says
right. What
he
is
says he's
intent?
not a political guy. He says that himself.
No,
I'm not really that political guy, and then he goes and
intention
spouts political shit for 2 hours.
What he always says is that his intention is just to say, just be mindful and seek your own opinion. That is really what his MO was always.
And I wish that's all he said. I wish that's all he said.
And he's just going to say that without saying any thoughts or opinions.
100%.
For now, just for now.
If I can say, John,
for now,
I'm fine. It's a little hypocritical.
I'm
saying
but you're okay with Kaepernick doing a thing, which also angered a lot of people.
It's not the same. Those aren't the same, though.
Because
they're different topics, but they are similar. Like in terms
no,
of
they aren't. No.
In terms of what you're saying as a distraction.
Because
again, I don't think that's a valid comparison.
Right, but again, like Monty said,
it's big news. Rodgers talking about whatever he talks about is big news, and it reaches beyond football. Right, that's the thing I'm trying to get at. It reaches beyond football. It basically talks about things outside of football that affect the country.
True, it does.
Kaepernick did, right?
It does, but no one's like, he's not standing up for some cause that's preventing that's trying to prevent people from dying or he's just saying, oh, my personal opinion is that, vaccines are BS and, I think
and also,
Putin's an
John,
okay guy. And that's not
John,
the same.
John, but also Kaepernick sacrificed his career for it.
True.
Rodgers isn't sacrificing a thing for this. So Rodgers has the best of both worlds. I can say whatever I want, but keep my career. Kaepernick said, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. Whether you agree or not, he sacrificed his career. Rodgers is only stirring up shit to be relevant in a non-football way. And that's fine. When you're not a football player anymore. If you're a football player, either take a stance that causes you to lose your career or shut the fuck up.
I don't think he's really just standing for anything. That's really what it is. It's like he's just saying I don't think he's standing for anything. So that's why it's different. Just to say, but I don't think necessarily that he's doing it to try to be relevant either. I think what it is that he's a guy who just says what he feels like saying when he feels like saying it, and he feels the way he feels. And then I think also media people like Tucker Carlson will bring him on to do that because they know it stirs up. I think the media knows that his shit stirs up the pot. But either way, it stirs the pot, and he needs to be cognizant enough to know these guys are only bringing me on their show because it's going to stir up the pot and get views, not because they care about me, not because they want the Jets to win, not because of that, but because they know that the shit I say is going to get views because it's going to rub a bunch of people the wrong way. I'm saying when you're leading, I'm saying when you're leading a team, yes, you got to be aware of that, and you got to act
he's not.
Like
he's aware that these guys are bringing him on just to get the heads.
Yeah, but he's got to act. He's got to act as a leader of the team. He's not just a private citizen. He's the leader of the New York Jets football team.
When he's in that locker room, just like he went to OTAs, try to get us back on the team as fast as possible out of that injury. You you can't say that he doesn't have a lack of a commitment to the team. Basically,
I
Dude, but
never
it's not-
said that.
it's
It's
not-
not.
it's
I'm
not
saying,
about-
I'm putting it to the extreme. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm just saying, no way you
agreed,
can say that. Like,
agreed. I think he is
his
committed
commitment
to the
team
Jets.
is as strong as anyone should be.
I
or can
think
be.
he is very much committed to the Jets. I'm just saying that even that the road to hell can be paved with is paved with good intentions. So if you have good intentions, it's not impossible for you to do something that is wrong. So I think he does have good intentions for the Jets, but I think he also thinks that he can just say whatever at any time, and that's okay because he's his own private man and this and that. Maybe that worked, when he was winning in Green Bay, but here in New York, like, people are not trying to hear that, and he can definitely ruffle the wrong feathers. And I just would rather it not be a thing now. If anything, let him say it next year. Let him say all the shit he wants to say next year. But right now, when we're trying to get our team, we already got to face the toughest or one of the top 2 toughest teams in the league. Game 1, getting punched in the mouth by the league. So, like, we need to be focused on doing good in preseason, doing good in practice and OTAs, getting the O-line to gel, making sure he has a relationship with Corley, doing all those things. I think, if I see all that in place and he wants to have a little interview here and there with Tucker Carlson, fine. But, like, right now, it's too much. It's too much. And let's let's pump the brakes on that and focus on winning.
Whatever. Either way, I just want to quote that it's only been out for a day on YouTube. It's got 420,000 views, which is way more than us.
Yeah.
But also 420. You talk about psychedelics, right? And that stuff I don't really agree with.
Are you talking about the Tucker Carlson
let's fucking talk, man. It's not a big deal. Anyway, that was a long and heated discussion. I think.
It was good though. It was good though. It's good to.
Final thoughts. Go ahead, Adnan. Let your little doesn't matter outrage on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, listen. So I want to say this, right? And I say it a lot of times when I talk ill of Zach Wilson and Mekhi Becton. I love them as humans, right? And I want them to be successful in what they do in life. Aaron Rodgers, I love him. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love his success. I love what he can represent for the Jets. I love the fact that, unfortunately, he may end up being better than Joe Namath. He's more talented than Joe Namath. He is going to be, if he stays healthy, the greatest quarterback we have ever seen, including Brett Favre. I love everything about Aaron Rodgers, the football player. I love everything about Aaron Rodgers, the locker room guy. I love everything about Aaron Rodgers, the teammate. I would love to get a beer with Aaron Rodgers any day of the week and talk about all the things that he talks about on Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
I would love to do it.
I wouldn't mind. I would listen.
100%. We all would, John. I know you don't drink when you bring your little vape, and we'll sit down and we'll hang out with Aaron, and he can say whatever he wants, and that's awesome. My concern again, my final thought is going to be that, like Monty said, not until the Jets have a winning season and make it to the playoffs. They make it to the playoffs. They win the division. They win a Super Bowl. Aaron, go. Bring Tucker Carlson into the locker room. Bring Putin into the locker room. I'll shake his hand. Right? Woody Johnson is a Trump guy. I'll give Woody Johnson the biggest hug in the world if the Jets win a Super Bowl. Right? But until that stuff happens, got to take a step back. Now, in regards to the schedule, manageable. I think Monty in our exercise had it right. John and I were a little too optimistic. I think, 11, 12 wins is the ceiling. I think the floor is 10 wins, assuming health. Everyone stays healthy. Maybe it's more than 12. So I think the schedule isn't crazy. we're going to try to go to London, which would be amazing. So we're going to look into that. And John, I don't want to, steal your thunder, but we'll have, maybe if John is okay with it, a ticket giveaway where you can come to a game with at least Monty and John, hopefully myself. We'll have a lot of great things coming up. We appreciate all of you. And if this was a little bit heavy, we have to go there sometimes. But Jets 11-12 wins is my final thought.
Got it. Yeah, man, definitely a good episode. Good discussion today. First of all, if you're listening, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell all your Jet fan friends about us, and keep helping us push the channel, and we'll keep giving you good content. Now, that being said, my final thoughts. I definitely liked meandering a little bit outside of football, but football adjacent, there with the Rodgers discussion. I wasn't necessarily like, oh my God, I hate Rodgers, because I knew that this came with Rodgers. I just want him to chill it out a little bit at this point. He's not going to, of course, but I would love for him to, because again, right now we have a lot to focus on. 49ers, we got a tough, back half of that schedule there, where we don't know who's going to be healthy. Tyron Smith, we know he's not going to be healthy the full season. How's Fashanu going to do? I want to see that relationship with Malachi Corley develop. There's so much there that I want to see develop. And I just don't want teammates, I don't want fans, I don't want the media to get their hooks into this outside nonsense about Putin or Vax or whatever the hell. I want us to be, focused on the prize. I think the schedule is a doable schedule. As I said, I think it's I think it's great, that we have a little bit easier of a schedule this year. I think we deserve that after, getting kind of slapped last year. Especially on a year where, we lost our QB1. So it's only fair for the pendulum to swing a little bit, at least back in our favor, and let us get, a schedule where there's a bunch of winnable games in the beginning part of it, where we definitely can be on a great track by the bye week, and then hopefully just get a couple wins, 2-3 wins out of the back half there, and then be able to walk right into the playoffs. It's gonna be an interesting season. I'm hyped for it. Can't wait to see how it plays out, and that's all I got.
I don't mind any of the stuff that Rodgers says off the field. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I some of the shit's a little out there. Pat Tillman thing was really interesting that he was talking about. I thought that was
wild.
Really fascinating. It was wild, and it's my thoughts. So once again, I don't interrupt. The psychedelic stuff I could do without, but whatever. I will say this: he doesn't have to say anything that he says, right? But one thing that is important is, someone to be happy, and if he feels obligated to do it because it's what makes him happy, by all means, so fucking do it, just do it. Whatever, as long as it doesn't be detrimental, right? And obviously everything he's done off the field, right, he's always tried to keep it off the field, right? Which is more than fine with me, right? I mean, everyone does something different on the off field. As I said, Sauce plays video games. Also, he had the best tweet of the day when he was talking about the Gmail.
Oh my God! Yes,
that was great.
I know what you're doing. That was
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm trying to think the hottest Gmail out there. Probably what's her name? Susan Sarandon probably is the hottest Gmail or Dolly Parton, one of the two. I mean, that's really going up there.
I probably have to lean Dolly Parton, but I agree. Yeah,
she's got Mount Rushmore titties. But anyway, I don't care, man. I'm wearing a fucking tinfoil hat on a fucking podcast on a fucking Wednesday, dude. I might just keep this thing around for the next time, right? I will say that, the only thing that really fucking mattered that happened in the last 48 hours, whatever it is, it's not the Tucker Carlson interview, it's the fucking schedule. We got that. We're very excited for it. It just football is closer. Sandwich in between golf season, still Stanley Cup playoffs and NBA finals, and I guess baseball, right? Yeah, it's great. I don't know. I think just be very excited for the season. Don't get distracted by the noise. Just focus on what happens on the in between those yardsticks. That's all that really matters. And the team's going to do its best. And just have faith in the process and everything that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and those guys put together. Anyway, fuck the Patriots. Plus 100 on the sweep is a good bet.
Yep.
Fuck the Dolphins.
Fuck the Bills.
Fuck the Bills.
Go
Fuck
Jets,
themselves.
always.
Let's
Go
go Jets.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace.